which I'm sure is from friendly people within the Air Force intelligence community that knew his father.
Mm-hmm.
And when this event happened that everyone has heard about, because I've heard this recording, I've been to this man's home and seen all the footage that the public hasn't seen yet,
mm-hmm.
and they said it's one of the fake ones. Stan is one of the fake ones. Fake ones.
Mm-hmm.
And Stan, and he was working with a lot of MUFON investigators, the Mutual UFO Network. No one knew what that meant. I said, well, of course. I mean, Martin Cannon elucidated this in 1988, 1989. These are what are called PLFs, program life forms, that are man-made, that look like grays. They're not ET at all. And his mouth dropped open. I said, you don't know about this? And he says, no, I don't. I said, oh, my God. I said, this is something we've known about for at least 20 years. There's a very well-organized program of man-made flying saucers and trans-dimensional technologies, electromagnetic warfare systems, as well as these strange-looking creatures that they have that some look like the Greys, some look like the reptilians, and these are manufactured. I know some physicists who've actually worked on building these robotic ET creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And Stan didn't know this. Stan Romanek didn't know this at all. And I said, well, of course, that's what it is. And the recording, the warning that came into him after he had this experience and was abducted, went further to say that the reason that he had blacked out and passed out while he was filming this creature in his kitchen was because they threw a chemical canister. And this is completely exactly what one of the Army Rangers told me, is that they had special chemicals that alter awareness, as well as electromagnetic warfare systems, the so-called psychotronic that affect awareness.
Yeah.
As well as, and so, you know, the picture gets rather mixed, where people, and unfortunately, if you talk about this at a UFO conference, you're blacklisted from it the next year. Because this is what happened to Martin Cannon and others, is that when they started to talk about this, their computers were hacked into, they were blacklisted from presenting this information at UFO conferences and off of radio shows. This is the core of the secret that this Majestic group doesn't want to have known, and that is that there are a lot of people who have had experiences that they think are ET and are actually man-made hoaxes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't to say all people who've had contact have had a hoaxed event. It's both going on, but you have to have the discernment to know that both are going on. And this isn't being talked about. It's being suppressed even within UFO research circles.
And how do you do that under some kind of substance which takes you into another realm of consciousness as well? That's very tricky, very difficult.
It does. It is, and that discernment, it's like, you know, is it real or is it Memorex? And and this gets into, you have to. But if you don't know that it's even possible, you're going to assume that everything like this that happens is of ET origins when it is not.
Yeah.
Even these implants, by the way, I have a scientist who had worked with some really high-tech companies that had included some materials from meteorites and stuff to make these implants so that they would look like they came from outer space. And, you know, you have people pulling these implants out. See, this is proof. I'm going, well, actually, no. I know the company that's been making these implants, which are very sophisticated electromagnetic devices for tracking people. And it sounds all very implausible and sinister until you consider the fact that the psychological warfare value of presenting the aliens in such a frightening and negative light is enormously profitable in the future to Lockheed Martin and to the war profiteers who make trillions of dollars a year on fear. And so, you know, this is highly manipulative and it's very sophisticated. And most people find this to be just implausible that there would be classified projects that would have these capabilities. And that's one of the sad things, is that people really, you can't even begin to investigate what part of what's going on is extraterrestrial until you have a full understanding of what our capabilities are within the classified world. And I think both have to be looked at very thoroughly before you reach any conclusions.
That is a really interesting perspective, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's worth putting into the bigger picture of things here as well. Some website for you guys out there to check out: disclosureproject.org, the orionproject.org, and cseti.org. The books Hidden Truth, Forbidden Knowledge, and also the new one here, Contact, Countdown to Transformation. Thank you for your time today, Stephen Greer. Keep up the important work. We'd love to have you back at some point.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.